The newspaper Blaze said in an article, "How do you change the way people think? You start by changing the words that they use." When I was younger, I read a historical novel based on the life of Molly Pitcher. And one of the chapters was titled "The Gay Family." I was puzzled over the fact that you could have a gay family. I thought that only individuals could be gay. But my mom explained that the definition of gay had changed over the years. It used to mean being happy. Suddenly it all clicked in my head. The chapter title made sense. How much are we really impacted by changing definitions? Does it actually affect you and I? Definitions are important because he who controls the definitions of words controls the world. When meanings are changed, thoughts are changed. And when you can change the thoughts of others, you can control them. We will first look at how words change, then why this matters, and lastly, what we can do about it. First, words change in 4 different ways. Naturally, over time, purposeful change, shifting definitions, and words omitted from the dictionary. First, words change naturally over the time, usually because the term either broadens or narrows in meaning, or because of how it's used. For example, awful used to mean full of awe, but now means terrible. And trolls changed from monsters under bridges to little figurines with spiky colored hair to annoying people on the internet. Words will change over time, and that's fine. The problem lies more with purposeful redefinition. Second, purposeful redefinition is when people intentionally change the meaning of words to change the standard in culture. For example, the definition of female was changed in the Merriam-Webster Dictionary in the summer of 2022. Now a female is of relating to or being the sex that typically has the capacity to bear young or produce eggs. The use of the word typically was added, specifically stated by the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, to include those who are not biologically female. The same typically phrase was also added to the definition of male as well. When the words male and female can be used to reference people that are not biologically man and woman, as Jesus taught in the book of Matthew, this gives the legal right for men to enter the woman's bathroom under the pretense that they are just a female that doesn't have the sex of a woman. Another example is the definition of marriage. No longer is the biblical definition of marriage held by law in the United States. Congress has redefined marriage as the legal union between 2 people as spouses. Instead of the 1828 Noah Webster's definition, the act of uniting a man and woman for life. What is the impact of this? When marriage can be redefined as anyone who wants to be in a relationship recognized by law, all the benefits and rights that married men and women receive are legally transferred to unions of the same sex. In recent days, we have found that there are many words with shifting definitions. A word such as woman can be used to mean something completely different than how it is defined. In the article called "War on Free Speech," the author, Brett Noble, says that progressives do not want words to have definitions at all. The problem with definitions is that they're absolute. Great emphasis has been put on not only restricting free speech, but also controlling language and insisting that only approved words can be used. Control what words people use and what those words mean, and eventually control how people think and then how they behave. Lastly, other words are completely omitted from the dictionary. Yeonmi Park was a young lady born and raised in North Korea. She escaped to America, where she fights for human rights and stands against socialism and communism. In her video, "My Terrifying Escape from North Korea," she says, "There was no word for oppression. There was no word for liberty. And of course, there was no word for compassion." Why does the regime get rid of these words? It is because who controls the language controls the thoughts. If they get rid of these words in our dictionary, that means we don't even know the concept of human rights. We don't even know the concept of freedom. And that's how they control our thinking. This is happening in our culture today. Stanford University, Colorado State University, and others have put together a list of banned words. American is changed to U.S. citizen, because calling yourself an American means somehow putting yourself above all others that live in the Americas. You can't use the term master bedroom because master carries connections back to slavery. And killing 2 birds with 1 stone promotes violence against animals. and should be replaced with getting two things done at once. This may seem unreal, but it's happening now. With this progression, we will lose essential concepts like that of human rights and other concepts that are core to our own society. Okay, so words change, but why does it matter? What's the big deal? When words are changed, thoughts are changed. And when you can change the thoughts of others, you can control them. If we continue to redefine words incorrectly, we will lose essential concepts that are core to our own society, destroy our nation, and become completely controlled like in North Korea. The destruction of our nation will come by what the laws say. The Federalist magazine said, quote, that the righteous aim of the American experiment was to create a nation of laws and not of men. But today, written law is not supreme because the words themselves are decaying. The USA was founded on biblical principles and moral laws instead of kings or rulers. Laws run on precedents, and precedents are recorded with words. When you change a word's definition, you change what centuries of laws have stated. If we redefine the definition of woman, people no longer have to change or push for gender-neutral bathrooms because technically they're female under the new definition and can enter the women's bathroom with no legal issues. Okay, our nation is headed for destruction, but we can do something to stop it. We can stand by definitions and not let words be undefinable. We can stand against the redefinition of women, which allows men into women's sports and bathrooms. We can stand against the redefinition of marriage, which gives the same rights and privileges that that married men and women receive to anyone who wants to be in a relationship recognized by law. We can stand against the redefinition of nuclear family, which says that it's just parents and children, not a mother and father. And lastly, we can stand by those who are fighting for life, that aren't letting babies be merely redefined as clumps of tissue. By not using certain definitions for words, terms are no longer used in that way. If we stop using the wrong definitions, we can stop them from being used incorrectly. For example, don't say transgender. Say someone who suffers from gender dysphoria. Or instead of gay marriage, use the term gay union. Say pregnant mother, not birthing person. The other way we can stand is against changing pronouns. If someone asks you what are your preferred pronouns, you can say, I don't have preferred pronouns. I'm a female or I'm a male. Stand up for what is right and don't call people by their preferred pronouns. If you do, you acknowledge that pronouns are somehow changeable and agree to the ideology behind the words. Competing in Lincoln Douglas debate has made me realize how important definitions are when talking with people. You might accidentally agree to something that you actually disagree with because you had a different definition for that word than someone else did. This applies to everyday life. We have to make sure that we understand what people are meaning by what they are saying. This involves listening and asking questions. As we have seen, he who controls the definitions of words controls the world. When meanings are changed, thoughts are changed. When you can change the thoughts of others, you can control them. And we must fight to change and control the meaning of our words, because he who changes those and controls those is he that controls the people. Professor Merriweather was a teacher at Shawnee State University. When he refused to call one of his students by their preferred pronouns, the university brought Merriweather into a lawsuit. This case reached the Sixth Circuit, which ruled that the university had violated Merriweather's right to free speech. The Sixth Circuit explained that if professors lacked free speech protections when teaching, a university would wield an alarming power to compel ideological conformity. The result was a declaration from the university that would never force Merriweather to use a student's preferred pronouns again and repay the cost of the case. Because Merriweather stood up for the right definitions, he was able to change the enforcement of preferred pronouns in his university. We can do the same. Michael L. Brown once said, "Speak wisely, speak graciously, but speak truthfully without compromise. If you do not do that today, then come tomorrow, you won't be able to speak the truth at all."